A common scenario I see people preparing job interviews, and especially the final interview rounds, would be to prepare them during the night. And it's probably the same, or at least how I used to prep some of my exams too. And in this video, I'm going to share with you some good ideas and some not so great ideas if you consider such an approach. So the first good idea, if you prepare during the night, would be to also gather with some friends, with some like-minded individuals, because what happens if you prepare in a group, then motivation will boost. And motivation is a big one, especially preparing, but also during job interviews as well. Right? So if you have some friends, then it's a great idea if you could prepare together for a final interview round. The second good idea, if you prefer such an approach, would be to be super outcome driven in your interview prep. Because what happens is, one of the things which happen if you tend to prepare during the night is that you're bound in time, right? So it's like a death match. If you're in gaming, you only have so much time until the morning, that the more outcome driven you will be, the better the outcomes. And when I mean outcome driven, could be to, watch or go through a training program in full, right? Tend to progress on that direction, or try to get your story bank in full, reach 10 or 20 or whatever the number of stories you're targeting, or to revise your stories a number of times, again, with the goal to complete that revision process. Or of course, all of the above ideally, but you should keep in mind that people tend to be terrible multitaskers. So I very much encourage you to do one thing and do it well and be super outcome driven. Now, what are some bad ideas if you tend to do, if you wish to prep your interview during the night? Well, first of all is timing, because the closer you are to the interview, the worst idea to do an all-nighter. Right? And here the extreme is obvious. You do an all-nighter to prepare your interview the day before the interview, right? So that's the worst possible scenario. What I see people do here in my trainings is that they prepare during the night, but consistently, right? So they prepare, 5 nights. Okay, so this seems to be working fine. Okay, again, on the condition you're not super close to the interview, because that will interfere with being able to interview well. And if you are tired during your interview, what happens is your listening skills will decrease, your ability to perform in general might be impacted, right? So the first one would be timing. And the other thing I see with people preparing during the night would be an overuse of ChatGPT answers. So in other words, people who tend to use trainings during the night tend to query ChatGPT quite a lot. I mean, it's like with a slot machine, or with like it's like it creates a certain type of addiction. And if you understand a little bit more about how ChatGPT works, it is a little bit created, so it creates a little bit of addiction and engagement into its usage. It's a marketing, it's a sales tool. It's a great one, actually. So one of the reasons why I use it in my training programs is because I want to increase engagement of my users. But if you're using during the night, you should also be aware that there's this side effect of overdosing on ChatGPT. So hopefully you found this useful, and thank you very much for watching.